for interrupting your movie, but I figured before we get started with this fairy tale, I'd like to take a look and reflect on the fairy tales in our own lives.
So you want to hear about our engagement? Well, it goes back to when Tracy and I first reconnected on Facebook. We talked for what felt like an eternity, just back and forth through Facebook Messenger. Then I finally convinced him to come go take me out on a date. And when he pulled up in the parking lot, I stood on the balcony and I waved down to him to let him know where I lived. He said he looked up at me and he knew at that very moment that he wanted to spend the rest of his life with me. Now that was unbeknownst to me.
It's true.
But our relationship kind of took the fast track. We were older and we'd both been married before and didn't want to waste any time with long engagements or planning a big, expensive, fancy, large wedding that we probably couldn't afford. So when Tracy finally made it official, we were drinking wine out on the balcony like we used to do. And he took the ring out of his pocket and knelt down in front of me and asked me to marry him, and I said yes, and so far we're living happily ever after. So
And you just got your first lesson. Let her talk.
First of all, you need to know that I knew your daddy when we were growing up in the church together. And I was in junior high and he was in high school, and I always had the biggest crush on him, but he didn't even know I existed. He never knew about me, ever. Then fast forward several years and we met again in a church activity, and he called and asked me out. We went out on our first date on August the 4th, 1984, and within 3 weeks, I would say, we both knew that was it. And we knew that, but we didn't speak of it. And he kept beating around the bush about, wanting a special time, and he'd tell people he had special plans for us, but he just kept procrastinating. And it's dawned on me that since your daddy's gone, I could make this story different. And I could just say that he proposed to me in some wonderful, great way. But the truth of the matter is that I got tired of waiting, because 4 months after we had our first date, I called him and told him I needed to see him. He came over and I pretty much just proposed to him. And he said he had a really cool proposal plan, but that he just kept putting it off. So apparently 4 months was too long for me to wait. So we got engaged 4 months after we started dating and married the following July. And to this day, I've never been proposed to, and that's the end of our story. But if I had it all to do over again, I would ask him to marry me 1,000 times. And I think if he had lived, I think that when we had made it to our 30th or something, he would have proposed to me again. He always hinted that was in store for us. But it's a decision that neither one of us ever regretted, and I would do over again in a million years. So even though that may not seem like I got my fairy tale proposal, I still feel like I had a fairy tale marriage, and I lost him way too soon, but he will forever and always be my Prince Charming.
You talk about engagement. I think engagement is more about love. And I was always running late to class. That morning we had a paper due. I had stayed up all night writing it, was running across campus to the library, printed it out, came into the class, and as I was going to class, probably 15, 20 minutes late, I see the most beautiful girl, and I stopped. And I looked at her smiling, and I knew she was smiling, and I was like, oh, she likes me too. And then I noticed she was wearing designer designer clothes, and I thought, high maintenance. And I walked to the back of the class and sat down. And it turns out we had another class together. That was an education. We were English majors, education minors. That was an education class. Then an English class later in the day, she sat like right next to me. And beautiful. I know the day that I fell in love with her, though. There was a barbecue at her house on campus, and I noticed I was with the adults, and everybody were hanging out in the living room, and I'm like, where's Jamie? And where are the kids? And I go into the kitchen, and Jamie has like 10 little girls in a circle sitting on the kitchen floor, Indian style, decorating cupcakes. And Amy Lauren was my heart. Amy and Brandon were my whole world. And so when I saw, this amazing mother, while everybody else is being adults and having fun and just letting the kids play, she's entertaining the kids, and they were all happy little Indian style decorating cakes, and it was just so cute. And I fell in love with her at that moment. I asked her to marry me twice. I proposed twice, 2 official proposals, and she said yes both times and disappeared after the first. Second time I asked her to marry me, it was maybe 4 years later. 4 years later, we had been teaching for a few years. Our kids knew each other like brother and sisters, and I took her out to this field. I can't remember, it's Veterans Park. It had this field of wildflowers, and I took her into the middle. I had her close her eyes, and I led her out to this field of wildflowers, and then I had her open her eyes, and I had the ring, and I proposed to her in the middle of that. I didn't get down on one knee because they were wildflowers. I like outdoors, but I don't like bugs. So I asked her to marry me, and the significance of those wildflowers were, after I knew I was in love with Jamie, I was still poor. And I was an English major, so I was very romantic, so I was constantly writing her letters, or I'd do things like bring her a Diet Coke, because that's how she woke up in the morning, but because I'd be pulled over on the side of the road picking wildflowers to take to Jamie to wake her up in the morning with a Diet Coke and wildflowers. Until I found out it's illegal. Then I quit, so you can't hold this against me. Once I knew it was illegal to pick wildflowers, I quit. But I did ask her to marry me in a field of wildflowers.
And I said yes.
And she said yes. And we got married.
Okay, so way back on our first date, back when we were all romantical, Mike took me
I'm not anymore.
onto campus, and we sat down. I was an English major, so I guess that's how we came up with that, I don't know. And we sat down on campus, and we wrote a story together. And then when we were done, he had it bound into a book that I still have somewhere. And so when it came time for him to propose, he decided we were gonna recreate that, like our first date situation. So he made up a story, because he was still in college and I was graduated. And
Final lap, half lap.
victory lap. So he made up a story that he left his homework down there for the weekend when he came to visit me, and we had to go get it, so we could go down and get it together, blah, blah, blah. So he takes me on campus, and I'm pretty sure I know what's going on. And he takes me, he takes me back to the same bench, and like we start writing the story together. And he says that I like totally by this point knew what was going on, and so I was like trying to lead the story to where he could ask me.
Totally.
But we finished the story, and I was like, well, he didn't propose, so I don't know what we're doing here. And so we got up and we turned around, and while we were writing the story, he had his friends put rose petals everywhere and set up a dinner of Chicken Express, because the way to my heart is through fried chicken. And so he took me over to the little green and gold swing and proposed.
What was significant about the green and gold swing?
Oh, it was the first place he told me he loved me. Oh, that was sweet. I see what you did there.
Way back then, I was romantical.
Yeah. And then we ate dinner, and people took pictures. They hid behind trees and took pictures. I didn't know. So we have pictures. And then I got really excited, and so I don't even remember talking to him the whole dinner, because I was busy calling everybody and telling them that we were engaged.
Yeah, you said the best part, though.
What part?
The part where when I was leading up to propose to you, and you kept going,
Whatever.
I always pick on her about that part.
And that's it.
Here, wait. Okay, tell me when.
You're good.
This is the story of how we became engaged. I believe it was August 1975.
1935.
1975. He doesn't hear well anymore. I'm sorry.
You said 1935.
1975, I believe I said. Okay, we had gone to Seymour to visit my grandfather, Seymour, Texas. And the big thing to do,
that.
yes, the big thing in Seymour, Texas was to go to Wichita Falls to the drive-in. We were at the drive-in. What movie was it?
Walking Tall Part 2.
Walking Tall Part 2. Walking Tall.
And you wouldn't leave me alone. I wanted to watch the movie.
Whatever.
And you kept your hands all over
Whatever. Reverse that.
No.
And partway through the movie, I don't know if you just blurted it out or if you led up to it or.
After you nudged me 16 times saying, are you going to ask me?
No, I did not. I did not.
Yes, you did.
And he asked me at Walking Tall Part 2 in Wichita Falls, Texas. And I believe I said, did I say yes?
Well, you've been out of your mind if you have.
I think we said yes.
So we're supposed to tell the story of how we got engaged. And Chrissy's going to remember this way better than me because it was like 15 years ago.
1999, New Year's Eve, Jeffrey took me to a restaurant.
We went to the Tavern on the Green at the Four Seasons Hotel.
And that was before everybody had cell phones and cameras in their purses and everything. And I had a beautiful dress on, and Jeffrey had snuck a disposable camera.
She had a beautiful dress on that made her look like a princess. It was like a ball gown. Cinderella. And she had very, very discreetly tucked the tag under her bra strap so that she could return it to the store the next day because she couldn't afford it.
Because I was in college, so I had to return it, but I wanted a nice gown.
But she looked fantastic.
I did. So then we were eating our dinner, and the song Wonderful Tonight by Eric Clapton, the band started playing that, which is our song, and I was excited. Oh, side note, Jeffrey was acting strange all the way to the restaurant, and at the restaurant he was nervous and sweaty and everything. But I didn't think he was proposing because 100 times before this night I thought he was going to propose. So I had kind of swept it under the rug. And so he took me out to the dance floor.
Yeah.
And then he swirled me around, and when
at first when she went to the bathroom, I told the waiter I gave him my disposable camera, and I asked him to take a picture of us whenever I was going to propose. And he goes, really, you're going to propose? And he goes, man, you should have said something. That's going to suck. You should have let me do it. I would have done it really cool. And I said, well, okay, well, anyway, just take a picture of us. So we went to the dance floor, and sometime during the song, I dropped to a knee and proposed.
Yeah, he swirled me around, and I turned around, and he was on his knee. And we have a picture of it, which I'm excited about.
And Tavern on the Green is full of completely old people. It's got like 16 above. So everyone's kind of looking at us strange because we're the only people on the dance floor. And I proposed, and everyone looks just like their meal got interrupted. No one clapped, and no one said congratulations or anything. Anyway.
But it was really pretty because it was New Year's Eve, and that was it. I had to think about it for a few minutes, but I decided not to embarrass him, and I said yes.
Oh. So.
There is a word. Asked her out to dinner, and we all. I messed up. Can you start over?
We can edit it.
You're sweating.
I know, I'm so nervous.
You're so nervous.
No, I've been outside. Okay. We first met in first grade. Then fast forward to 2012, 13. I proposed. I got lost on the rooftop and I couldn't find where the champagne was, but I found it.
And I was nervous.
She was nervous.
Because I thought we were taking somebody's spot.
I was nervous too. She said yeah.
Wow, that was special, wasn't it? Thank you all for coming out tonight. This is a very special night for me. I'm very excited and very nervous. At this moment, I would like to direct all my attention to Amy. 462 days ago, I counted, you can check, I did the math. I sat down at BJ's restaurant and shared a pepperoni pizza with the most beautiful girl in the world. Now, tonight, 462 days later, I am standing here, talking on a movie screen, about to pour my heart and soul out to you. For the longest time, every night, I would pray to God, asking for me to find the woman of my dreams. The girl of my dreams, that's what I wanted. Well, that night, 462 days ago, I went home, and instead of asking God for bringing me the girl of my dreams, I thank God for bringing me you. Not only have you been the girl of my dreams these past 462 days, but you have been truly my best friend. I've enjoyed every second I spent with you, every trip that I take, every time I can just get off of work and just talk to you on the phone. I love those times, and you are very special to me. For this next part, I'm going to need, is there Zach? Where's Zach at? Can Zach stand up?
Right here.
Amy Lauren? Brenner?
Good job, Mac.
You want happily ever after?
But this could be